These have some architecture. Wait a minute. 86. That means. Know what that means? That's what it means. We can now create mud houses. Finally, oh my god, that is way too late. Way too late. But time to build. Let me see, architecture. Yes. We want you. So the next patch, which I'm actually playing right now on this part of the video, is 0.17. 0.17 has changes in the knowledge. You see it, but you probably don't understand it. But do not worry, because the second the patch is out for public, I will make a playthrough and explain everything. So here we can build this one organically as well. You are limited on the medium houses because you don't have a lot of space to do everything you want to do. Can also turn it here, then you have a little bit more freedom with regards to how far in you can take it. But unfortunately we have built an object there, so you're not really coming any further. But you see you can't enter if you do this, so you need to go a little bit to the side. Like this. And the entrances will be right next to each other. So there's more than one way to, of course, build it organically. You can also, of course, build it in different angles. Doesn't have to be only one. So like here we could play. Oh, why is the ground like this? Crikey. Okay, like this, and then we can go a bit like this inside and do the same. No, can't do the same here because of angle, the terrain underneath. But see, these two here can be like this. So let's give more to those builders so they can do it. And these guys, look, they have 158 and they're on top of everything. They are actually on top of all of these. Can you see? There's one storehouse needing repair, one pit, five pits, but they are in control. I'm gonna give them all these, and then I'm gonna give them, oops, one of these. They're supposed to only have storage. Architecture needing storage. What's that? Are you guys friends? Oh, the deer and the bull. Oh, you see. So I have 5 groups with cattle. Just so that if I increase policies, I can still get it all milked. So I've been working towards getting more of the architecture myself by spamming these huts. I'm going to let them continue to build these until they are done, and then I'm going to dismantle them. Because don't forget that both repair and dismantle also gives knowledge learning. So the patch I'm playing now, it also has the help for the wooden spears becoming 25% efficiency. So you now have a hoe. I'm going to show you this in the next playthrough I'm doing after 0.17 is released. It will be within a week or so, the devs say. So you have to struggle with 25% performance reduction without this extra tool. So for those of you who have waited for hoes, it will come within a week or so. There are more changes, but I will go over them in the new playthrough. Right now, we are going to continue to help new players actually have a tribe thriving. So let's see. Yeah. Gonna let them be built in peace. Let me see how much Is it 500 mod these need? I can't remember if that's been changed. It's 1,000. So what we should do is to increase the mud income, because what we need to remember is that mud decays very fast, and we can only afford one storehouse to take care of some of it, and the rest will rot a lot faster. So we have one over here. This one has 500, so yeah, that's the capacity. Why is my frame so horrendous? I think it's because I've loaded the beta game into the devs game, the dev server, and we have a gazillion more things on the devs, including all the feisty, fierce predators, which I'm going to do my very best to avoid you guys seeing, because you're not supposed to see it. You all seen the sheep, so I'm not even going to bother with that, but I'm going to try to play as beta as possible by not hunting the predators, and also not harvesting any of the extra food or using any of the extra tools. Otherwise, from now on, this playthrough would not be correct for you guys who are on beta server or public. Public is same as beta at the moment. I'm not going to use any of the things that we have in the devs. The only reason I did this is to get the medium house, because devs have reduced the requirement, architecture requirement, from 90% to 85%. And you just saw that we got migrants, just as we're sniffing on going from these Neolithic timeline and more into the Metal Ages. And it's right-ish thereabouts. There were mud houses pre and Neo as well, but they were more to the east. So the more west and north you go, the less you will have of the more modern stuff. That goes without saying. If you are a history buff, you know that this is exactly as duped. It is how it was. So following history, we had to wait a while before we got them here in Switzerland. Well, in my opinion, we should have had them before, which is one of the reasons why devs reduced the requirement to 85% rather than 90%, because the game is supposed to end at 1500 BC. That is the end of pure Neo. This is when Metal Age has already started to infringe on Neo, you know, and by 10k BC there were very little pure Neo tools or the Neo technology only in use. They were a mix. So Metal Age is well on its way by 1500 BC, especially in the more eastern parts. You know, in northern Norway, a place called Alta, we had farms already in 4k BC, and I mean, you cannot really get more north than that. You can a little bit. I used to live at the very, very north, but you can't really get a lot more north than that. And we already had oats and barleys and cows, and we had goats and sheep and pigs by 4k BC. And imagine that in 6k BC, the entire southern Norway would have already been in the Neolithic timeline, while the northern Norway would have to wait a few more millennia. So yeah, and also I'm fighting to have a western mid-Norway coastal line to have more peas, because there's no way in 4k BC that they had no way of having several types of crop that far down in Norway, because we need to remember that already by 11,000 BC, the majority of not only the eastern parts of the fjord line in Norway, south and western also had immigrants coming. There were thriving communities along the entire southern coastline and west and east. So the fact that northern Norway was so far behind is fine and all dandy. We can't play there anyway. We can't go further up than roughly below middle Norway. But everything below middle was way on time by 4k BC. So I'm fighting for more stuff there. The devs have already given in on wheat. and more kale production. That is also coming in patch 17, which I'm testing at the moment. But this goes for the colder period, so we will not really benefit from it in this playthrough because we are way too far south. We're in Switzerland, far from the more northern parts. And yes, so wheat has been increased for the northern parts. I'm going to talk more about that and test that in the next playthrough. So just so you guys know that it happens that sometimes the devs are listening to me, even though it's not 100% astute, because we also need to think about playability and not only having 100% correct historical things all the time, because that will not be good. No, it wouldn't. For instance, the entire Miso would be so boring, and we should have only predators coming for our asses every day, fighting for our lives every day. And since we don't have that, then we need to adjust the game so that we can actually play and enjoy it. So of course the devs are listening to the community with regards to these things. There are several things more in the patch notes that I still need to test before they will release it. So this playthrough, this last playthrough is, or this part of part 4 is the start of patch 17, and it will probably change a bit because I've already reported a few things that needs to be changed for patch 0.18, and maybe patch 0.18 is good enough for me to say that this can be released, and then of course it will be given to the beta and then to public. So for now I am testing 0.17 with this playthrough, but I'm going to try to hide as best as I can all the things that you guys are not supposed to know, even though you know a lot of them already, because of course I can't keep a bloody secret. It always, it's different. It is difficult to keep so well apart when sometimes the items we get to test are longer in testing than all others. Like you have half of the things in testing will never be released to the next patch. Like we have had our species of domesticated animals for almost 2 years that has not come to public yet, which is why I keep revealing it, because 2 years on one animal is a long time to wait for it to come public. So I mix up a little bit. Old senile, that's what you get. It's what you get when you're well adult and yeah, have a lot to think about. Yeah, so we also put these, you can see these menhirs, because they will increase the praying speed. So they will pray for like a few seconds, then they will reach a good level. We don't really have any unhappiness in tribe. There's a few who complain about the work hours, but that is because I increased it previously to complete the farms and also at the same time get enough materials for repairs. So yeah, so I think I've overtaxed the tribe a little bit for everything that is in the dev server at the moment, because my frames is appalling, so I probably can't play too fast on the speed. But yeah, I'm gonna go see how they're doing the medium houses. This is good. So all the houses has been adjusted and streamlined for the next upcoming things, the DLCs and stuff. So you will see that most houses have reduced sleep spots, and for instance stone house only have 6, while for instance the log and the mud roundhouse have 7. This is because this is high quality, much higher quality than the others. So you can see that they are now down to 22, while the log ones are down to, I think it's 13 to 13. And the highest one is of course the mud house. They will be 30%, and I think longhouses will still be fairly high. Is it 21 or what is it? No, it's only +5. They reduced it to +5 because you're all piled up in together. Although it's supposed to be family, we don't have family yet. It's supposed to be family, and I guess it will be a little bit increased by then, because when you're a family, you're less inclined to be annoyed. I think, I hope. But then if you are with strangers, you don't want to be with strangers anyway. You want to be with your family. So yeah. So that is that. And of course I've added up to, I have 32 threshers, and I have given roughly 12 to the builders group. because it's easy to control a builders group, but it's not easy to control communal task workers, because the more you have in communal task, the more you lose control over what exactly they are doing, and the more you put it in your builders group, the more you can control it by not only using the policy for communal task versus group task, but also the amount of items being worked on in the group, and also the work spots, how many people you want to work on this. You can also get away with using the communal task policies extremely vigilant. Like if you need group tasks to be done before a certain time, like threshing for instance, that they are in a group, then you just decrease the communal tasks, so people are spending more time doing the chores inside the groups. That's basically what the communal task sliders do. You either give more people to communal task not in a group, or you use the slider to create more workforce for the group task. That's all there is to it. Gonna add some light. These guys need some light because they don't have a fireplace, so it's getting really dark. Yeah, so we have made one medium house finished already. They are very pretty, aren't they? And let's see how it looks with the other one built into it. So, like I said, it's a bit difficult to get it exact, but yeah, you just what you could do to get it precisely the way you want it is that you save it right before you place it, and when you have built it, it might take some time. You see how well it fits. If you don't like the fit, reload the save and start again. If you want it 100% perfect, that is. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I have on these as well. They don't need a lot because there's a fireplace over there, and also on the other side. And I quite like when there's torches everywhere. So for those of you who doesn't know, the torches was actually my mod that I had a lot of help making, because I wanted a torch because we had nothing like it. So I asked the dev so we could get it, and since there is no hardcore evidence of it, we only have, logic, thinking that of course they had torches, of course they had both standing and then torches they held by hand. But since nothing of this evidence survives, for us it cannot be proven above what is actually logic. Considering that they made cave paintings in the dark caves, they carried oil lamps and stuff in. What is the leap then to think that they also use these kind of materials to have a proper torch? So after the torch was made, the devs actually implemented it directly into the game, which is why it is no longer a workshop, but a part of the game. The leap is not bad. The leap is 100% within what is logic to think. A lot of people, I feel, also historians, are locked in a certain time frame. Like this cannot be possible. But we are constantly proven wrong, aren't we? We are constantly having to change timeline events because of new discoveries. So yeah, one of the things that I dislike about any scientist is when they are too close-minded. James Randi once said, "I am open-minded, but not so open-minded that my brain falls out." And this can be described to me to understand how a good scientist thinks. Because there are things that cannot be proven, but that we know via logic thinking has to be correct, Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you guys actually agree with me on this. It's taboo to dare to suggest that anything except what is written in the history books is correct or different, especially when it comes to timeline events. And it's a good thing that this playthrough is going to end soon, because COVID has decided that it's going to visit my voice every now and then. It visits my voice and my taste buds, and suddenly everything tastes metal, and suddenly my voice is up and down, and I sound like I'm 90 years old. It's really, really annoying. But at least it's the only thing I have after I had COVID. I know others have it a lot harder. Some people have actually developed chronic fatigue after COVID, constantly half dead, you know, feeling ill all the time. It's no good, is it? So I have very little to complain about, but my videos sound like they're done with a 90-year-old senile hag from a elderly home. I'm almost there. I'm almost there, almost in the elderly home. I'm kidding. No. No. I'm still fairly young. But I'm no longer in my very, very young youth. Let me just say that. I can probably still run faster than you, though. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, so let's make it a bit cozy here as well. You know, a fireplace and my beloved benches. Yeah. So the changes for 0.17, patch 17, will probably be coming out as patch 18 or 19, depending on what I find in 0.18. So far, I can't see any big gameplay bugs, but then again, I've only played for a few hours on the dev server with patch 17 content. So for now, it looks okay. But the really big change to this patch, patch 16 that we played earlier, that is in beta, is the Paleolithic tools that you can never lose. Paleolithic tools and Paleolithic housing, Paleolithic equipment such as the tanner and the dryer. You can never again lose these. There are more, I just cannot remember them all, but you, like I showed you earlier, you can figure out yourself exactly what you cannot lose. So you can lose a lot, but you cannot lose these things, because this means that if you are really unlucky and lose the knowledge altogether, you can still place things down, practice it up again. But like I said previously, there are going to be more changes to how knowledge is. And I can't say anymore because I don't have all the information myself yet. Normally the devs just chalk out a patch and write some very, very ambiguous patch notes that I have to decipher to figure out, okay, what do you mean? Because this can be a plethora of various things. And then I managed to figure 99% out on my own. So I will keep you informed when this patch is coming out, the next patch, because they will probably, can't say 100% certain, it will probably have the new knowledge content in it, and I would like to explain that to you, because what I suggested is probably the way the devs are going to go. I will keep that on the lid until I know for sure. Normally the devs are extremely clever in coming up with really nice solutions, way better solutions than I can think of, at least most of the time. But yeah, so this patch, the huge change in what you can and can't lose will help a lot of, especially the new players that doesn't quite understand how knowledge and knowledge learning and spreading and progressing actually works. It does take quite a time. It takes a few hours to learn more about the basics of the game, because everything is so intricate and so intertwined. Every small change you do can have a huge effect on both the environment, your work groups, your workforce, your individual members, your elders, your youngers. Absolutely everything is affected, and it takes time to get into all this. Yeah. So I'm not sure I remember to say this, but when we tested it a few patches ago, the tools that we use for tilling was so decaying that I ran out of tools in the middle of planting, and of course that had to be changed. So the devs have reduced quite drastically the decay that tilling does, but it's still the highest form of decay you can have on a tool in use. So the main change is that there is now decay on tools that is increased decay on tools that is in use based on the use. But it is still within a full possibility to keep a good control and to keep up with, because first of all we have increased speed in making some of the flint core tools. Then we also have a high increase in flint core availability in your locality. So these two things will weigh up for that decay is implemented so starkly on anything that has to do with hard work like tilling and planting for that matter as well. Tilling is the hardest decay that will occur. So it is not done to make the game more difficult for us players. It is done to make it more realistic, because it is realistic that the more you use a tool, the more worn it will become. So that is completely within the realm of what is realistic. Otherwise, I would probably have protested a long time ago. What I still don't like, I can't help it, I hate that they have reduced the crop performance. It annoys me still today, but I can't argue too much because it does take longer time to crop than it does to gather a few rose hips. Seriously, it does. Let's be honest. But I don't love it because I'm so spoiled. So yeah, don't love that. But that is kind of me wanting to conclude this playthrough series. It's been really long, hasn't it? I had some computer issues after I put in my water cooling system, so I couldn't do anything for months until the computer dude came and sorted it for me. So yeah, I upgraded my computer from an i5 to an i9 and added water cooling because I wanted to not spend 6 hours rendering my videos. So now it's like 25 minutes to render my videos. Initially I looked at the i7 because the i7 is stated to be quite good for video making and rendering, but then I saw the price tag was so little different between i7 and i9, so I just got the i9. Could just as well get it. It's not like things are going to get worse, is it? It can't. Well, I couldn't find anything better, so i9 it is. Because to me it is important to make videos to explain to especially new players. Oh, and guess what? After I reached 1,000 subscribers, I got an email from YouTube wanting me to monetize my videos. I'm like, are you serious? What kind of BS is this? I have 1,000 subscribers. Not even half of them are watching my videos. Are you guys on drugs? So I declined that very politely. You will probably have commercials though, not because I've asked for it or because I get paid. I get zero from this. I get pleasure though because I know it helps so many new players, or even intermediate or experienced players, because we have to admit it, the majority of changes are not even mentioned in any of the playthroughs. Not playthroughs, patch notes. There's nothing in the patch notes, and patch notes are so ambiguous at times that they are easily misunderstood. This is also why I keep doing patch notes explanation in my playthroughs, because I want to show you how it works when you're actually playing the game as well. What is the effect and how does it affect the tribe, the environment, your game at all. So this is why I do this. Okay, this was a little bit bob doesn't quite fit. Yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough-ish. No, I would have done it differently. I would have reloaded or saved and done it differently, but there you go. So the tribe is quite large. We are 400 and is it 47? Almost, yeah, around 450, which is kind of the harder soft cap. So now we should start getting migrants who have much higher knowledge levels, but we need to remember that time limit is capping our knowledge. So we can't spam and spam, for instance, architecture and think that we'll be 100%. We cannot be 100% at 1500 BC simply because there is a timeline limit. But we will talk more about that in the next patch that is coming out when I'm doing my hardcore playthrough. Thank you for following me, and until next time, have fun and take care.